Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. It's been a little bit since I last recorded anything fully, so it feels good to be back. This will probably be a split recording session nonetheless. If you guys didn't know, I got a little sick or something, and I kind of had to step away for a little bit, but I stepped away after beginning a video, so I was like halfway through it, and then I needed to finish it in order to upload it. So that was the previous video, and honestly, if I was even getting any really good ideas or anywhere remotely close to the right direction as to where things are going in the first half of that video, it was gone by the second half. I don't even know what I talked about in the last video, so all I know is we are at the end. We are at the end of episode 3 in terms of the story that is to be told. Battler believes that Ava herself is the culprit. I think it's a little bit more. I think it's still a little bit more than just one singular person. It might not even be Ava directly, you know? She might have a hand in it, but it could be somebody else. I hate to say it, but I'm a little suspicious of Hideyoshi's involvement in everything, and the last video also kind of pointed him out in not so great of a light. So, we'll see how this ends. I don't think it's going to end well for anybody, and that includes Ava, which does raise some interesting flags and a lot of question marks. Battler and Ava dashed to the front of the parlor, calling out Jessica's name. They were searching for Jessica because they had gone to the servant room, found Nanjo's corpse, and didn't know where Jessica was. Interesting point here is that Battler was chasing after Ava when there was the split between the four. Nanjo went with Jessica, and Ava went with, well, I guess by herself, and Battler chased after her. This was when Jessica kind of got shot a little bit. Beato went pale. In other words, the move the evil witch was about to make was bad enough to make even Beato go pale. I just realized that I did not turn on my fan when I started this recording session. My ceiling fan. Oh, it's gonna be a hot recording session. Now I'm curious to see what she's gonna throw at us here. We need something with a crazy loop thrown at us. Okay, well, that's interesting. Oh. Well, you don't have to be a culprit or an accomplice to witness somebody commit murder. I'm pretty sure I just brought up something that, that kind of goes around that. Alright, let's hear it. Okay, that one we've heard before, and we have to accept it. Oh, come on. You never know. Wait, you kind of contradicted yourself then. Unless witches aren't life forms. Okay, yeah, we know that. We know that. Actually, we're going a little bit out of order. I'm just letting these all play out. And I'm gonna see if something kind of sticks out here. Okay. So we're all accounted for, I'm pretty sure. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So yeah, there's 3 more people alive. Jessica, Ava, and Battler. And we just got told that Battler is not the culprit, nor is he an accomplice. So that's 2 people. 2 people here.
15人は死亡。そして、バトラは生存している。エヴァは生存している。ジェシカは生存している。
Those ones are all kind of obvious.
これで18人全員。よって、最後の犠牲者である南條の死亡時、バトラとエヴァとジェシカの3人だけが生きていたことはわかるわよね。
なんだと。貴様、まさか。
エヴァはあなたとずっと一緒にいたわ。
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess it's a fact if it's being spoken in red, though.
だから犯行は不可能。
I mean, it's not impossible.
もちろんバトラ君は犯人じゃないわ。アリバイ偽装なんてしてないし、彼女が犯人の可能性も考慮していたから、その行動は用心深く見張ってた。彼女には不審なことをできるあらゆる可能性が存在しなかった。つまり犯行時の使用人室には南條とジェシカしかいなかったのよ。となると読めてるわよ。あなたの一手はこうよね。ジェシカが犯人の可能性もあると。しかし残念ね。先に赤で叩き切ってあげるわよ。
She's gonna declare that she is not the culprit either.
後宮ジェシカは殺人を犯していない。南條殺しに関わっていない。
Okay, so was Nanjo for sure murdered?
彼女の目は完全に塞がれている。その彼女に殺人を行うことは不可能よ。さらにおまけしてあげるわ。エヴァとバトラも南條を殺していないし、関わってもいない。
Could he have been accidentally killed then? Because, you know, killed and murdered have been utilized in these sentences, but it hasn't been stated anywhere that he was necessarily murdered, right? Like, flat out, that's a fact.
それじゃおかしいじゃねえか。3人しか人間がいなくて、それで殺人が起こって、その3人が関わってないなんて。
はっきり断言してあげるわ。
There's a lot of webs here.
南條を殺した犯人はバトラでもエヴァでもジェシカでもない。つまり生存者の中にはいないということよね。お分かり？
いや、そうだ。二重人格とかどうだ。もともとお前がエヴァおばさんのもう一つの人格であったように、例えばジェシカにもう一つの魔女的人格があって、それがジェシカ以外を名乗って南條先生を殺したとか。
I think I was kind of joking around about this idea in the very beginning of this episode.
愚かね。すでに赤で語っているわ。ジェシカの目は完全に塞がれていて、彼女に殺人は不可能。彼女にどんな人格が憑依しようとも、彼女の肉体では殺人を行えないの。それともこう言えば満足するかしら。ジェシカの体が起こしたいかなる動作も南條の殺人には関係影響しない。この適用をバトラとエヴァにも広げるわ。つまりどうあがこうが解釈しようが、ジェシカとバトラとエヴァは南條を殺した犯人ではない。
Could Nanjo have killed himself?
ふざけるな。
Could you call suicide a murder of yourself?
だって他はもう全員確実に死んでるじゃねえかよ。ならあとは残るのは、
Yeah, there we go.
南條先生の自殺説だけじゃねえか。あとトラップ説。犯人はすでに死亡しているが、過去に仕掛けておいたトラップが発動して。
南條は他殺よ。
Okay, never mind.
もちろんトラップではなく直接的な殺害方法よ。凶器を構え、それにて真正面の至近距離から殺した。 犯人は南條の目の前に堂々と現れ、そして互いに顔を見合わせながら殺害したのだ。
Okay, hold on. That's a very serious sentence right there that's being stated as a fact. 18 people were on this island. 15 of them have been confirmed dead, right? We just counted them. So 15 of them are dead. 4 remained. Originally, Nanjo became the 15th to die. And none of the 3 that are still alive had anything to do with it. Yet he was killed. This is going back to the very original, like, the closed room scenario that was brought up in the beginning of this episode. How do you kill somebody without killing somebody? Especially in this case, it's being brought up to the point where they met face to face.
だから待てよ。生存者は3人しかいない。それ以外は全員死んでることはお前が赤で語ってる。つまり18人全員の生死が確定してる。しかも19人目は存在しないとあらかじめ赤で否定済みだ。つまり生存者3人以外には存在できない。なのにその3人以外の4人目が南條先生の前に現れてる。19人目は存在しないのにどうして俺たち以外の人間が現れて南條先生を殺害できるんだ。おかしい。お前は嘘をついている。赤字で嘘をついている。
赤は真実のみを語る。それを疑うことはすなわち貴様の後ろで私に怯え萎縮し、その背に隠れるその魔女の命を裏切ることになるわよ。
Which is a complicated type of situation, but I feel like there's like a small contradiction in these statements somehow that might actually cancel out some of the facts. Like a double negative or something.
今こそ言い切るわ。南條の前に現れし私こそ魔女なのよ。
Yet you can't say it in
18
red.
人の人間では説明できない黄金の魔女なのよ。
ワルギリア、ロドベ、状況は矛盾していないのか。奴は本当に赤で真実を語っているのか。
はい、赤き真実、有効です。
I've never seen him look that way.
なんという
He is disturbed.
緻密かつ精密な常。
こいつをどう手を打ちゃいいんだ。ワルギリア、何か手はないのか。
私には何も思いつきません。
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm also lost.
ロドベ。
申し訳ありません。しかしこの1000年、これほどまでに精密なる美しい盤面を見たのは初めてです。
I mean, you could also think back to episodes 1 and 2 with how few people there were, you know? Who could the culprit have been in those sorts of situations? Episode 2 was so twisted, we don't really even know how that one ended for a lot of the characters. In episode 1, things were still pretty clear-cut in what we were perceiving, yet things happened in such a way that it only made sense as if Maria was the culprit. At least at the very end with how things went down. The witch's teacher and the demon butler were both stunned, and an expression of ecstasy rose to their faces. Tired of all this fucking red webbing, by the way. I'm trying to think if there's a way where somebody could have killed somebody at point-blank range, but maybe they weren't on the island, you know? There has to be a missing detail of some sort that kind of like hints at the actual fact here of what's going on in the sense of reality. Forget surrendering. They were impressed at this perfect checkmate, which simply had to be admired. When people accept defeat from the bottom of their hearts, it gives rise to neither regrets nor humiliation. Nothing is born except feelings of respect. I no longer knew what was what anymore. There were absolutely no weak points in her red. She had said in red that all 15 people have died. She had said in red that no people existed other than the 18. In other words, no more than 3 people, me, Jessica, and Aunt Ava, existed. And even though none of those 3 people were the culprit, Dr. Nanjo was killed. And without a doubt, Dr. Nanjo's death was a homicide. He was murdered by that person openly from in front of him, excuse me. And she's saying that that person is a witch?
南條を殺した犯人は動物などの類ではないわよ。それはすでに赤で宣言済みよ。人間以外は一切考慮から外しなさい。ロボットなんかもダメよ。人間以外の一切の要素はこのゲーム版に関与しない。ゆえにこうも言えるわね。南條を殺したのは確かに人間である。
Wait, then you just contradicted yourself. You said that it had to have been a witch, right? But now you're saying in red that it was a human.
地に足のついた人間が凶器をかざしそれにて殺した。眼前にて。ただし、その人間は魔法が使えたかもしれないわ。それはすなわち魔女だったということ。
But that's the one part you can't say in red.
それがつまり、この私、黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
This shit's loud. Even his battler ground his teeth, his knees hit the floor with a thunk. His soul still refused to surrender. However, his knees had already started to accept surrender.
ひざまずいたわね。そうよ。あなたはもう理解し始めている。黄金の魔女が存在す
The
る
endings
こと。
to these episodes never get any easier, do they?
その黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが私であることを。さあ、たたえなさい。本当の魔女の復活を今こそたたえなさい。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェの復活を今こそたたえなさい。第9の晩に魔女はよみがえり、誰も生き残れはしない。
Yeah, how's our story going to end then? I am so tired of this red webbing. It's actually so hard to read when it's all over the fucking screen.
くそー。俺にはわからねえ。ここまで徹底的に赤でがんじがらめにされたら俺にはもうさっぱりだ。
Yeah, you and me both, brother.
バトラー、くじけるな。わらわとそなたは再び戦い合う約束を交わしたではないか。ここでそなたは屈服するのか。わらわと再び戦う前にこのようなところで消え去るのか。
その約束を破りたくはねえ。しかし俺には奴を否定する手が全く思いつかねえ。
I'm sure if we laid out all of her statements and maybe even moved them around a little bit,
これは
we
そも
would
そ
be
も
able to find a hole
問題にさえなって
somewhere.
ない。容疑者以外は存在せず、その容疑者は全員白。赤で白だって言われてんだぜ。それでいてしっかり他殺で犯人は人間でちゃんと目の前に現れて南條先生を殺したという。もうお手上げだ。どうにもならねえ。
頼むバトラー、諦めるな、くじけるな。思考を止めれば自動的にそなたの負けとなる。頼むか、くじけるな。わらわも応援しておる。
It's weird to have a previous enemy of ours, you know, being a cheerleader of
もう
ours,
何
but
も
alright.
思いつかねえんだ。どうせあいつは魔女だから魔法とかでやったに違いない。考えるだけ無駄だぜって思っちまう。ダメだ。頭が痛い。脳が疲れる。考えたって無駄だからやめちまえって。
Yeah, don't do all that.
チェスというゲームは相手を任そうと互いが尽くすから一回のゲームに長い時間をかける。しかしどちらかが最初から勝ちを捨て自分に損な手を進んで刺せばあっという間にゲームを終えるのだ。これをフールズメイトという。
A fool's mate is simply put a strange way of playing chess in which the fastest methods of losing are considered. Opening the area in front of your own king and inviting the opponent's queen in. Even though the average game time in chess is several hours, a game can be resolved in a scant 4 moves. In other words, if both sides try to win in a fight, they are compelled to take a painfully long period of time. But if one side decides to lose, the game can be ended far too easily at any time.
人間側は 思考を停止させることによって目の前の問題を魔女に譲り渡し、木からリンゴが落ちることさえ直ちに魔法の仕業ということで決着できてしまう。そしてそれは魔女側も同じことだ。魔女は赤き真実を使う。それにて魔法の正体が人間で説明できてしまうことを示せば、
I wonder if something was said
直ちに敗北すること
previously
ができる。
that could maybe open up our hole. Open up the gap that we're looking for.
考えを止めるなっていう。
Maybe remove a little bit of the barrage of red that we just
し
got.
かし、あいつのあの完璧な真っ赤な手にどうやって反撃すればいいんだ。俺には、人間にはもう無理だ。
無理か。バトラには無理なのか。
Come on, Battler, we're in episode 3. You gotta keep going. We have 5 more big-ass episodes left.
すまん、俺にはもう無理だ。
Battler scratched at the floor, crying heavily. Beato watched that with a distressed face. Then she stood up and spoke to the witch.
わらわがそなたの手に。
Ooh.
へえ、この完璧なるチェックメイトにあなたはどう切り込んでくれるというのかしら。
It's probably the most simple bullshit,
人
isn't
間
it?
には決して破ることのできないこのチェックメイト、あなたごときがどう破るというの？
ベアトリーチェ、あなたまさか。人間にさせぬ一手ならわらわが魔女であるがゆえにさせる一手で。
魔女である
Wonder what that
がゆえにさ
entails.
せる一手。お前何をする気だ。
わらわが魔女を否定する。
Hey, yo? You'll just fucking end the game?
ベアトリーチェ。
お嬢様。
The teacher and the butler were both startled. I also immediately understood what it meant. To use the red that only witches could use. To use the red to deny witches? It was like using her own sword to slit her own throat.
はあ？あんた何を言ってるの？赤で魔女
Damn,
を
I
否
guess
定。
fuck the other 5 episodes, right?
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。そんなことしたらあんたも無事じゃ済まないわよ。
そなたは魔女にあらず、そしてわらわもまた魔女。真の魔女への道は険しく、まだまだ長い。なれば好都合、今この場にもとより魔女など存在はしないのだ。
Uh-oh.
わらわが自らそのまやかしを剥ぎ取ってやろうぞ。
Oh shit.
私もあんたもしっかり堂々とした魔女でしょうが、赤が使えることこそ魔女の証。あんたにとって魔女の定義がどういうものか知らないけど、あんただけは無傷で済むなんて勘違いをしているなら今すぐ。
勘違いなどしているものか。それでよいのだ。
ですって。
わらわはもとより真の魔女になるためにようやくその道のりを歩き始めたに過ぎ。もし今のわらわが魔女だというのなら、それは力に溺れただけのそなたに同じ偽りの魔女に過ぎぬ。そのようなみすぼらしい姿なら未練などない。
God damn.
そなたもろとも
What a change in
わらわのこの
personality.
姿も消し
All
去
the
って
way
く
to
れ
the
ようぞ。
end.
正気、やめなさい。私はまだ魔女でいたいのよ。人間は嫌なのよ。
魔女様、どうかご着席を。人間側の受け手をどうかご着席の上。
Witch sama, huh?
何をするの？離して。その女に赤を使わせないで。やめさせて。離せ。
As the witch stood from her seat and tried to spring upon Beato, Renove pressed down on both of her shoulders, forcing her back into her seat. And even after that, he didn't remove his hands from those shoulders. Denying witches was the same thing as denying magic. That included demons such as Renove. However, instead of running away, Renove chose to act as the facilitator, right? Okay, I can read. For the game. Sorry guys, I had like a mini fucking, I don't even know. And to carry out that duty for his master's sake. Big words, scary. Multiple syllables I just cannot take.
お師匠様こそごめん。いっぱい楽しい魔法や幸せな魔法を教えてもらったのに全然上手に使えなかった。だからゼロから修行やり直してくる。そのバカ弟子の不始末に巻き込んで。
This could be a good way of like maybe like, you know, restarting from the very beginning for everybody. And probably a really good way of getting rid of Ava Beatrice, because I really don't want her to be a part of the story anymore. Let's get rid of her.
お前らが何の話をしてるのか。だがこれだけはわかる。そして言える。ベアト。何をしようとしてるのか知らねえが、これからやろうとしていることをやめろ。
Damn.
そなたに手はない。しかし、わらわに手はある。この一手。逃せばあやつは魔女として真の意味で復活し、今度こそこの島のすべてを支配する。
I mean, everybody's going to die to something here shortly, right?
すべての悪夢は。
Sure, we can deny the fact that things were done with, you know, witches and magic and whatever else, but we still need to figure out what actually went down in these stories.
邪悪なる魔女の妄想を繰り返す無限地獄に落ちるだろう。そなたはそれを許せるというのか。親しい家族たちが永遠にあの魔女の悪夢にもてあそばれてもよいと。
だがお前が犠牲になることなんてないだろう。
Hey, he really does care about her.
これは俺と奴のゲームだ。お前が身を犠牲にして手を刺すことなんてない。俺が考える。起死回生の一手を必ず考えるから。だから早まるな。畜生。絶対に思いつくから。だから早まるんじゃねえ。
このゲームは残酷である。
Fuck yeah, it is.
すでにそなたの兆候に制限時間を使い切っておるわ。もはやわらわしかおらぬ。安心せよバトル。わらわが撃つあの残酷なる魔女をわらわが自らの手で撃つ。
Hey, before you off yourself and everybody else and this whole realm and everything like that, can we like smoke what you've been smoking? That's a really expensive looking pipe, that's all I'm saying.
お前が自分を犠牲にする必要なんて何もない。
わらわを否定するためにそなたは戦っていたのだろうが、おかしなやつだ。
I mean, we're both kind of like contradicting our like truth, like beliefs in selves here. Beatrice really wanted to like get Battler to believe in her and magic and all that, and Battler didn't want to believe in any of it, and now they're fighting for each other.
そしてどうか見届けてやってください。
しかし
バトラー、一つだけ頼みがある。耳を塞いでくれぬか。
耳をどうして。
わらわはこれより赤にて魔女を否定する。
I mean, the fact that she's saying that it's even possible to do so should be like a game ender, whether you say it in red or not.
あやつの赤で敷き詰めた盤面を切り裂いてみせる。
But she doesn't want us to hear it.
さすればわらわもまた魔女の姿を
So the game will continue on somehow, right?
そなたもわらわが語る赤き真
We
実を
won't
聞
have
け
the answers we so
わら
badly
わの正
want.
体を理解すること
Not in
な
episode 3, at least.
そなた一人が耳を塞いだところで真実は何も変わらぬ。だがそれでもそなたにだけはそなたの前だけでは魔女で
Oh, how cute.
言ったのに。
ベアトリーチェ様。
I mean, I'm just surprised, you know, in so many ways.
問題ありません。どうぞ刺してよ。
ないのよ。あいつおかしいわ。私たちを巻き込んで自分も死ぬ気よ。やめて、否定しないで。やめて。
God, that hurts.
仮にも黄金の魔女が見苦しいぞ。さあ良いか、バトラの代わりにそなたのチェックメイトを外す。15人が死に3人しか残らぬチェス盤にて、わらわがこれより赤にて暴く。
You know, man, I really want to hear what she's got to say here, but I don't think we're allowed
偽り
to.
の魔女2人を共に貫いて殺す。
Beato turned around and smiled at Battler. Most likely, no one would believe that the witch who had gone to the limits of cruelty would try to leave a smile as the last expression she showed Battler. And that smile signified her last wish, that she wanted him to cover his ears. Denying witches in red was the same as knowing her shabby form. Battler put both of his hands against his ears. To protect her final bit of honor as a witch, he put his hands against his ears, rejecting the truth. And he howled, so that not even a bit of what she was saying would slip into his ears. So what could actually be going on here is that these people that we're interacting with, if we've been interacting with anybody in the first place, or whatever is going on here, and it's hard to really say what the fuck has been going on here when we try to like mix this in with, you know, the sense of reality. You know, these people might be individuals that we know from the family, or servants, you know? Who the hell knows, right? Now, there's a lot of weird, like, attempts of trying to tie things in, and they just don't. So I'm not even going to think of it that way, but yeah, let's see what happens here. After that was a world where Battler could hear nothing. Beato was saying something in red. Even the evil witch covered her ears at those bitter contents. That was the red truth. Words of power. Words that denied her own existence. Unique words that only witches could use, which denied witches. Good old Kododama. Beato spoke. With the red truth, she cut up the bright red game board that the witch had released. Thank God we're getting rid of this shit. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. I love the color red, don't get me wrong, but like that was just a little bit too much scattered across the screen. She explained difficult problems that could not be solved by humans, with moves that can only be solved by witches, and began cornering the witch. The truth that Battler was not permitted to hear. If Battler had broken his promise and sneakily eavesdropped, in an instant Battler would probably have been able to become the victor in this game with Beato. He would probably have understood all the riddles on the island, all the magic and tricks, closed rooms, spells, curses, legends, and this entire tale of anger and sadness. However, Battler would only learn what that was when he reached the truth by himself. Is the right way to go about it? Yes. From the beginning, I don't know why I stuck a word in there, Beatrice had wished that Battler would reach that truth by himself. It was something one shouldn't reach by being told it. It was a truth that Battler would have to drag himself to by his own power. A brilliant light gathered with Beato and the evil witch at the center and grew gradually stronger. It was the power of truth. I just live in a world of lies. We all do, so we don't get to see this shit. Its heat and brilliance like the sun shone on all the falsehoods that hid in the darkness, trying to deceive and burnt them to nothing. Die, bitch.
なぜあんたは死ねるの？こんなすごい力を持ち得ながら、黄金も魔法も。
Yeah, I really dislike Ava Beatrice. I'm sure we're all on the same page there.
どうしてそれをあっさりと投げ出せるの？
山をなす黄金であろうと、海を裂く魔法であろうと、手に入らぬものがあることを知れ。さあ、姿を現すがいいぞ。その正体を表せ。Ushiromiya Ava!
Damn, even at the very end, Ava is who we pushed onto to be the culprit. When the sun exploded and blew everything away, Ava could be seen there holding a gun.
あんたが犯人なんだ、エヴァおばさん。
At least in this rendition of the story, right?
気づくのが遅いわよ、バトラ君。
Yeah, I mean, no shit. Without any hesitation or mercy, Ava raised her gun and pulled the trigger. As an explosive sound rang out, Battler's heart was shot through, and he fell to the floor. After going into convulsions for a short time, with blood dripping from his mouth, Battler died. Yep, we have to read up on it now. It's very important. Damn, Battler died before Jessica did. That's insane. That's crazy. But, yep, she's the baddie, I guess, in this story. Or at least that's what we're going with. Shot and killed by Ushiromiya Ava inside the mansion, the murder weapon was a sawed-off rifle from Kinzo's collection. Jessica lost her eyesight, there was only her and Battler. Wolves and sheep puzzle. Ooh, okay, I kind of like that. We're kind of bringing that back from episode 2. But in his last moments, he realized without a doubt that she was a murderer. And not just for killing him. There have been many murders, and I don't have a clue how they were carried out. However, while my ears were covered, Beato exposed all of them with the red blasting away all magic. In other words, even though I didn't understand it, was that nothing more or less than proof that magic can all be explained with humans? Beato made me cover my ears, so I myself don't know the whole truth. However, now that it's been denied and read, I can see one fact which is extremely unfair for us, that it is possible to deny all magic. So in other words, no. I must not think of that. If I do, then the time I spent covered my ears would be made pointless. If I'm going to regret, I can only regret my own actions. If at that time I'd thought of some move to spin things around and counter the witch's final move, there would have been no need for Beato to sacrifice herself. It was my own worthlessness that brought about this conclusion. Honestly, it's interesting because if, like, this is the true ending of this story, right? It was Ava. Then how do we work with the truths or the red statements that we were, I guess, told about? How do we work with those? Or were those completely denied? You know, what is fake and what is fact, you know? Because that's getting a little, you know, twisted here and there. Even though it was a pitch black world where nothing could be seen, for some reason I felt Beato's presence right next to me. So I tried calling out to her. You can exchange words with someone whether they're a human or a witch. Is that how that works? So even in a world where witches have been denied, I should be allowed to talk to her.
Beato.
バトラか。やったぞ。わらわ。やった。
Yep, nothing is real now.
聞こえはしなかったが、俺はお前の姿を最後まで見ていたぜ。
Maybe we should have closed our eyes too.
邪悪な魔女に毅然と立ち向かうところをちゃんと見てたぜ。
これでもう、わらわは魔女ではない。だが必ず。わらわは再び魔女になるぞ。そして再び黄金の魔女と呼ばれるに至って再びそなたの対戦相手だと認められに帰ってくるから。
And that's where episode 4 will be.
いや、お前は魔女だったぜ。俺は見てたぜ。お前があの邪悪な魔女をすっげえ魔法で吹き飛ばして。
Again, it's really weird that Battler, who's trying to deny all this, kind of just rolls with this whole idea. And also stands up for Beatrice, as we saw earlier.
いや、魔法だったぜ。お前は確かに黄金の魔女だった。お前自らが否定しようとも俺が認めてやるよ。お前は確かに黄金の魔女だ。
When Battler said those words, in the world that had been dark, there was suddenly a single grain. A small grain of gold, like a wheat seed, shone brightly. And even though it was small, it had a strong gold-colored sparkle. This has been one wacky-ass episode. Then it shone on the two of them, sitting with their backs together. So they each became aware of their own form. They did not exist only as consciousness. They became aware that they had bodies and definitely existed. No, perhaps we should say that they each had been given an existence called a body. When Battler looked at his own form, he wasn't that surprised. But when Beato looked at her own form, she was a little startled. From Battler's perspective, she looked just like normal. But for a short while, she was surprised by that form.
これはどういうことなのか。
あの光の粒の輝きがどんどん強くなる。
That grain of wheat was no longer simply gold-colored, but it was like the light of the sun. We should stare at it. Then it softly began to approach Beato's chest. When that grain of the sun was sucked inside her chest, things are getting freaky all of a sudden. And I think it's killing her. Or this is happening. Just, the world is coming back. The world was wrapped in a deep blue sky, and then a deep blue ocean was spread out below them. So this is how the Big Bang happened. An island rose up, trees sprouted and created a forest, walls surrounded us, and a ceiling swallowed us. And this is also how houses were made too. And it was adorned with more and more things, made to be like the hall in the Ushiromiya mansion. In the middle of the fantastical hall where many gold butterflies beat their wings, many tables were set up with white tablecloths like it was a party, and beautiful cooking and fruits were set out. And over there were a great many shapes. It was everyone talking together and smiling. Is this the Golden Land? There was Dad and Kirie-san, Uncle Kraus, Aunt Natsuhi, and Aunt Rosa, and of course, even Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, excuse me there. George Aniki, Jessica, Maria, wait, even Shanun-chan, Kanon-kun, Goda-san, and Kumasawa-san are here. Everyone was at the party, clapping their hands and celebrating our return. That's odd. This is, again, just one wacky-ass fucking episode. It is so weird.
黄金鏡ではすべての死者の魂を蘇らせることができるのです。お帰りなさい、ベアトリーチェ。そしてようこそ、バトラ君。
Hello again, Virgilia.
黄金鏡へようこそ。
Hey, I guessed right. There we go.
わらわは至ったのか。黄金鏡への扉に至ったのか。
はい、お嬢様はついに全員を黄金鏡へお招きできたんです。
Which I didn't know that was actually possible.
ようこそバトラ様、黄金鏡へ。
I thought it was only a select few, but alright. God damn.
ようやくここへたどり着いたか。
The fuck you mean?
じいさま、俺は一体。
Oh, I understand.
お前はわしの魔法と相入れぬ血を最も濃く受け継いでしま
I
ったのか。
completely get what's happening here on the magic side.
この黄金鏡にお前だけがたどり着けず、ずっとベアトリーチェはそなたを探していたのだ。そなたをここへ連れてくるためにあらゆる手を尽くしておった。
なんだって。
これでようやく全員が揃いましたな。
さあ、バトラ様もお席へ。
No, I don't know if we
今宵
should.
の料理はこの5打目の最高傑作を尽くしました。どうかぜひご賞味ください。
あんた光栄に思いな
Oh
さいよ
man,
ね。
even they're here.
本当は私が全部食べるところをお情けであんたらの分も残してあげてるんだからね。
7クイーン
So I think what Kinzo meant, and with everybody being here, there was only one person out of the 18 that did not believe in the very end of episode 1. You know, everyone kind of succumbed to the idea that, yes, Beatrice is real, there's a witch, there's magic, but it was everybody but Battler. Everybody but him. And even to the very end, we saw this in the tea party as well. When we actually met Beatrice for the first time, she realized that Battler would not accept the fact that she was behind it all. That magic was basically the weapon utilized to kill everybody. So that prevented things, you know? That prevented Battler from continuing onwards to the Golden Land.
黄金鏡では意志ある者すべてが公平だ。ここで我ら家具とて人間とて魔女とて区別はない。
Oh, that's convenient.
バトラ様、お待ちしておりました。そしてようこそ黄金鏡へ。
シャノンちゃん。
Or at least, you know, what I said earlier. That's just what I'm assuming.
僕もまだこれが夢じゃないかと疑ってるよ。僕たちは死んだはず。でも生きてる。そして全員が全員ここにいて幸せなんだ。信じられない。
そうよ。どうせここは夢の中の世界なのよ。だからジョージがメイドの女と仲良くしたって。どうせ夢なんだから。
予算かエヴァ。今は黙って若い二人を祝福せなあかん。黄金鏡は至福の都や。ここではいがみ合いは一切なしやで。
ここでは愛し合う者たちは全てが自由。誰にもはばかられることはない。
Oh, I'll hesitate.
ジェシカちゃん、カノン君素敵。焼けちゃうわ。
ようバトラー。なんだかその。
Yes, make it very awkward, please.
バトラ様、ようこそ。そしてお帰りなさいませ。
Jessica was probably embarrassed because she was holding hands with Kanun-kun. Kanun-kun wanted to act humbly like a servant and bow, but since neither of them could let go of the other's hand, he couldn't do it so well, and the whole scene looked fairly comical.
使用人のことなんてダメです。うちのジェシカをやれるわけありません。
Look, we already heard the same shit.
いいじゃないかね。好きな相手くらい自由に選ばせて。
Hell yeah, Kraus. God damn.
ダメです、ダメです。ジェシカ。
うちもダメなのよ。
Yeah, poor things. As Aunt Natsuhi and Aunt Ava hugged each other, they cried tears of regret for their adorable children. Even though they had always been at odds, it was a very bizarre scene.
いいじゃないですか。誰が誰を好きになったって。
そうよ。親が子離れしてない証拠ね。
バトラー、俺はお前がどんな女を連れ帰っても生温かく受け入れてやるからね。
Yeah, cool to see that you're, you know, the same as usual here.
この人に紹介しちゃダメよ。すぐ手を出すから。とっとと駆け落ちしちゃうのよ。
And yeah, that might
バ
happen.
トラー、やっとここへ来た。
Hello, Maria. It's been a little bit.
マリア、お前は最初からここへ来ることになると。
Well, yeah, she kept on fucking saying it even in episode
だから
1.
マリアは何も怖くなかった。みんなは臆病でビクビク。
I'm assuming that this is our continuation from episode 1 in a way.
なんてこった。一番ずれてる
But I guess it could also be the continuation in episodes 2 or 3. Now that we've learned more about all these characters.
無礼です。
Yeah, you know what? I'd probably side a little bit more with episode 3 all of a sudden.
マリア教に対してそのような口の利き方、とても許せません。
What the fuck?
射撃曲線形成、攻撃準備よし。マリア教、いつでも攻撃できます。
What's with like the what?
お静かに。
God damn, Genji, alright.
ベアトリーチェ様の御前です。まあ固いことを言わずに今ははしゃいで喜び合いたい気持ちを察しましょう。それより乾杯の準備を始めようではありませんか。
さあさあ、
自慢のサバ料理の準備は十分ですよ。いつでも配膳できますよ。
ほらみんな少しはかぐらしく働きなさいよ。やだもっとつまみ食いするの
さあ働こう。お客人方を待たせるな。私たちはあくせく働き奉仕をしよう。お客人たちに何もさせるな。武将にさせて怠惰にさせてコロコロと豚のように肥えさせろ。
Yeah.
ベアトリーチェ、バトラ君、こちらへ。
Grandfather and Virgilia were standing on the landing at the top of the staircase, beckoning to us. Beato and I turned our heads to see what was going on, and then climbed the stairs together. From the hall, it looked like a very high stage. A small table had been set up there, as well as a piece of parchment and an old-fashioned quill pen. I saw that strange magical characters in Japanese were written side by side, and below it, many names were written. There were 17 of them. Grandfather was the first, and everyone's names had been signed all over it. The people who arrived at the Golden Land probably signed this one after another. I guess if we are going in episode 3 order, yeah, Kinzo would be first.
黄金鏡は魔女の力だけで保たれている世界ではありません。そこで幸福を享受するすべての人間による協力と承認が必要なのです。そのためにここには全員のサインが揃わねばならないのです。
前回黄金鏡の扉がようやく開いたが、お前はサインを拒んだ。
That's actually correct.
記憶にはないだろうがな。お前がサインを拒んだため、この世界を再び闇に閉ざしてしまったのだ。
Okay, so what I'm thinking is going on here is this is definitely episode 3's, I guess, epilogue, if you want to call it that. The story is done, everybody died. So here we are. The battler is within the story battler, and I guess the Beatrice is technically both in and out of the story, Beatrice?
それだけを聞いてると、なんだか俺一人が頑固で。
Maybe? I don't know. This is confusing as fuck, and it probably doesn't even matter.
そなたの頑固は折り紙付きであるからな。金蔵から受け継いでいるのは血だけではないらしいぞ。
Beato laughed amiably? Let's go with that. I should have felt like she was making fun of me, but without thinking, I went along with her, laughing and smiling.
魔法とはすなわち、奇跡は全員が信じ合わねば完成せぬ。そして、最後のそなたが信じてくれる。
Hey, I was right. I told you. I've been paying attention, kind of.
なんだか、いろいろ迷惑をかけちまったみたいだな。それで、俺はどうすりゃいいんだ？
まず、ここにあなたのサインを。
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
次に、ベアトリーチェはここにサインを。
羽ペンって使いづらいな。うわっ、弾いた。
下手くそめ。インク弾きは縁起が悪いのだぞ。
It is?
自分の名前くらいとっとと書け。ミミズがのたくるようにね。
お前こそなんだよ。カタカナで書くなよ。ベアトリーチェなんて洒落た名前なんだから。
Why is katakana like a special term
羽ペンと
there?
名前が泣いてるぜ。
うるさいな。筆記体はテストの時は使うなと授業で言われなかったか？
I used to use cursive in my notes and it was fucking terrible. But yeah, I think that actually just popped up here in the tips somewhere in the grimoire, maybe? Yeah, katakana. Katakana is one of the phonetic scripts used in Japanese writing, one of its uses being to write foreign words. When foreign words are written in katakana, they are forced into the Japanese sound system. So Beatrice in katakana is actually pronounced, god damn it, Beatrice, whatever the fuck. This Japanese pronunciation of Beatrice is the reason for her nickname, Beato. Yeah, I've actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been saying Beatrice and Beatrice going forward because I've I know how they're pronouncing it because it is like they're saying Bea, and then, you know, there's the nickname. But in English, you pronounce it Beatrice. So I've been kind of fucking myself over with the pronunciation. In this scene, Battler is suggesting that she should write the name in its original beautiful form instead of the Japanese version. However, as we have just seen with Maria, a katakana name, which we have represented with small caps, may be a deliberate choice for certain characters, witches in particular. In the original Japanese, many characters, including ordinary real-world characters like Kumasawa Shio, as well as Renove, the jesters, and all the stakes use katakana names. To ease reading, we have chosen to restrict the usage of small caps to the full names of witches, where katakana seems to have a special significance. Got all that? Because I sure didn't.
これ、厳かな儀式であるぞ。沈黙せよ。
結構、二人のサインが揃い、誓約書の書式が揃いました。二人には宣誓を。
Oath?
ま
What
ず
the
は
fuck?
ベアトリーチェから誓約書に手を添え、誓約を。ベアトリーチェは良き魔女として、人々の幸福のために今後も修行を続けることを誓います。さあ。
なんだか恥ずかしいぞ。
Yeah, especially since she has to say it in front of like quite a few people here.
ベアトリーチェは良き魔女として人々の幸福のために今後も修行を続けることを誓います。これで良いか？
よろしい。次はバトラだ。
Okay, what does Battler have to say?
同様に誓約書に手を添え、誓約を。後宮バトラは黄金鏡の一員として自身と隣人の幸福のために奉仕することを誓います。
後宮バトラは黄金鏡の一員として自身と隣人の幸福のために奉仕することを誓います。俺も恥ずかしいぜ。
聞け皆の者。今ここに黄金鏡を認める18人の人間全員の誓約が揃った。
When Kinzo proclaimed that, everyone applauded at once, praising us. Since I had been the only stubborn one and had just been a pain, I felt a little bad about being the most celebrated one.
それでは古式にのっとり最後に誓約したバトラ君に黄金鏡への招待状のサインを求めます。
Which I don't think he should do, honestly, but we will wrap up this recording session here. Guys, I feel like we are on the cusp of finishing this episode. Episode 3 is just about done, and as much as I would just want to like continue on, I need to learn from my previous mistakes with episodes 1 and 2. Those final videos were way too goddamn long, so I feel like we're really close to ending things off. So if that is the case, then we should be able to do it in a nicely length video next time. So let's shoot for that, shall we? But there we go. All right. We oh shit, there's a car outside. That scared the shit out of me. Anyways, yeah, let's shoot for the next video being the finale. This one was pretty interesting for pretty much how we just kind of dealt with the game here. It was so different in so many regards, and I'll definitely have to talk about it whenever we get to the, you know, the very end of this episode, but very interesting nonetheless, very confusing, and just wow on both Battler's part and Beatrice's. Where we go from here, I have no idea what episode 4 has in store. I just hope that we completely got rid of Eva Beatrice, because I don't want any more to do with her. Please, please. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.